Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr. Speaker, it's a...
Hang on. Jami-Lee Ross, I've called.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an interesting night in the House because the opposition's really getting fired up over this piece of legislation. You'd think it was the worst thing in the world that we're trying to pass here, but actually it's eminently sensible. But the opposition doesn't think so. They've sent down their leadership contenders to have a go on this legislation. First we saw Cunliffe, and then we saw Robertson. He gave it a go as well. Haven't seen Shane Jones yet. But, Mr. Speaker, this is pretty sensible what we're doing. Effectively, all we're saying with this piece of legislation is that if someone is in default and they're trying to go overseas for the express purpose of trying to get away from paying their student loan obligations, then we're going to take some actions. All we're saying, Mr. Speaker, is that repaying your student loan debt, meeting your obligations that every New Zealander is obliged to meet if they have a student loan, it's important for them to do, and if they are in default, then we'll be taking action. Mr. Speaker, this government has spent a lot of time in its time in government by working on getting the student loan scheme under control, fixing up the mess that Labor left us with after they were in government, and almost had no rules in place and no restrictions in place at all on the student loan scheme. We saw the debt significantly ramp up, and we saw the number of people who were not meeting their obligations significantly increase as well. Mr. Speaker, the opposition might not care, but there's approximately $500 million of student loan scheme money where overseas borrowers are in default. And, Mr. Speaker, we know that overseas-based borrowers are a significant problem because 59% of borrowers that are overseas are currently in default. The opposition and Tracy Martin might not care about that. They might not care about the good, hard-working Kiwis who are paying their obligations on a very regular basis. They might not care about them. They might not care that those people are doing things right, but overseas-based borrowers are getting away in a large degree of cases. Mr. Speaker, we're taking some actions. Yes, sure, the arrest capability that would be inserted in this bill might seem extreme. It would only be used in the most extreme of circumstances. But, Mr. Speaker, if someone is just absolutely flouting the law, if someone is saying to the New Zealand taxpayer that they don't care about meeting their obligations, then I think the New Zealand taxpayer expects us to take some action. Mr. Speaker, it's sensible, it's good law, and, Mr. Speaker, it's absolutely in line with what we've been doing as a government in the student loan scheme area. It's absolutely in line with what we've gone to the public in an election to talk about and do. They support it. The opposition is on the wrong side in this debate, and it's a good thing that this is going to the Select Committee so it can be heard by the committee and people can make submissions on it.
Members, this debate has concluded. The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. A party vote's been called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote. Order. Votes are in silence.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. The motion is agreed to.
Student Loan Scheme Amendment Bill number 3, first reading.
The question is that the Student Loan Scheme Amendment Bill number 3 be considered by the Finance and Expenditure Committee. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. So the ayes have it. A party vote's been called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 57. The ayes have it. Call on Government Order of the Day number 8.
Land Transport and Road User Charges Legislation Amendment Bill, first reading.
Mr Speaker,
The Honourable Simon Bridges.
I move that the Land Transport and Road User Charges Legislation Amendment Bill be now read a first time. I nominate the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee to consider the bill. The bill will amend the Road User Charges Act 2012 and the Land Transport Act 1998